Puerto Rican kid, bald head, loves snakes, loves Blizzy, Sergio Chacon.
Yeah. What up, Pa?
Peace. Welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon, aka Blizzy Chacon. That shit whack. I mean, it's always gonna be Dirtbag Shit podcast. Peace and welcome to the DBS podcast. It's your boy Sergio Chacon in the mix. Happy 420. I am excited for today's guest. He's my homeboy, Lower East Side representative. Clap it up for my man, Al Cruz. What's good, Daddy-O?
What's up, man?
I'm
Thank you
chilling.
for having me, man.
Oh, man, I'm happy to have you.
This is exciting.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time.
It's not often that we bump into Lower East Side natives.
No, man, and that's why it was super important for me to get you on. Are you a big fan of 420 or is you indifferent towards it? It's like amateur night for a cat like you.
I was thinking about that on my way here. I'm like...
It's like New Year's for the
I'm
clowns.
No, the opposite, because I don't smoke weed.
Oh, you don't smoke weed?
I don't smoke weed.
So what's your drug of choice? If you had to say, is it drinking?
I'll drink.
Mescaline tabs, PCP?
I do a lot of drinking, and drinking also turns into a little slope action.
Slopes?
It's okay.
Yo, that's
Dominican, it comes with it, right?
Yeah.
It's like a thing. I don't know.
Yo, that's very dive bar talk, because I used to hang out with Max Fish,
Yeah.
and this back in the days when Harold was alive. Remember Harold the skateboarder?
Yep.
And I remember the bouncer. At the time, you know, we always change the names. Let's call him Sam. Sam was like, "You hitting the slopes tonight?" And there was no eye contact. "You hitting the slopes tonight?" Because my Joe was always like, "Yeah, no, I'm just playing pool."
Why is it that you can't hide that? Like,
Well-
my girlfriend, she could spot it from down the bar. She's like, "That's it, you did it."
Yeah?
She said, my jaw looks like a typewriter, like a typewriter. It's just going off. My teeth are grinding.
Yeah, it's the worst, man. That's the worst part about doing that drug because you want to hide it. You
Yeah.
want to enjoy yourself. And when you're spending the energy of your high that you pay $50 for on controlling your jaw,
You lose that shit.
you lose it, B.
What's the point?
What is the point? I promise you, I didn't sniff coke today. It's allergies, or maybe it's residue from the last time I did it. But that's the worst. I remember this one time I was hanging out at La Nina. You know La Nina?
Yeah, on First Ave.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So that's a neighborhood bar, which I swear to God, I was one of the first like Latino cats to break that shit in because now it's all predominantly black and Latinos. But back when I was doing it, it was predominantly like white crowd. And it was just close to me. And I felt like I turned it out because I would go there, have a good time. And I used to go there dolo. And I remember bumping into this couple and I was high as hell. And she was just looking at me like this and looking at her boyfriend side eye. Like, and I was talking to a couple. Like I put myself in a situation to be the third wheel. That's dirtbag.
That's real dirtbag.
Yeah,
shit.
I'm like this. They want to have a good time by themselves. He's like holding her.
You just creep up in between them and just like fuck it.
Yeah. My one hand in my pocket, holding my drugs like this. You know, and then at one point she goes up to use the bathroom and she looks at me because I'm clicking like gang, 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 and she's like, "I fall."
Oh wow.
And he gave her a little massage. Like, "It's going to be okay, babe. We're going to get through this together." And I was like, yo, they know I'm fucked up. And she gave me the I fall.
For those that don't know, I fought. That means that's like stink.
Yeah.
Stink.
Yo.
You can't really describe it, right? Is it really a good word to say I fought? Because it could be like anything.
Yeah,
it could
but-
be a fart. It could be like someone that's just nasty, dirty.
It's a very
word.
dismissive word. It
really is.
It describes putrid. It describes something that's ugly, something that's not very becoming.
It could be someone's features, and you just want.
Someone's
so
physical
many definitions.
Yeah. It could be a smell. It could be physical features.
Yeah.
In my case, it was my physical. It was my jawline.
It was your jawline.
And she was like, "I fall," and the fall was sharp.
I mean, bro, I've been there, man. I used to hang out at this bar where you walked in and that you automatically smelled the cocaine.
Oh.
When you walked in there because it was so small. There's a fog machine going on.
Oh, that's kind of cool though.
There's people. You've heard of it.
Bring the mic a little closer. I'm sure we'll find it just in case.
St. Jerome's on Rivington Street back in the day. It was a small bar and it smelled like shit. But you can actually smell the cocaine when you open that wooden old door.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I
Was the bathroom all graffitied out?
Yeah, in the back, and it was
Pabst beer
super
in abundance?
Yeah, $2.
Yeah. So Pabst beer and cocaine is like milk and cookies. That
It
shit
really
goes well
is.
together.
It really is.
Because you got a budget.
Yeah,
You
and
know
then
what
it
I'm
just starts to taste like water after a
Yeah,
while.
you're just crushing them.
And that's it.
And then you start doing stupid shit with the cans.
Well, you know what's funny? I was talking to my boy about this the other day because we were reminiscing about it, and I was like, man, like, so I used to call it my cubby. It was a cubby. I had a cubby in the men's room.
That's an adorable name, by the way.
For a fucking cocaine-infused bar. So basically, in the small bathroom, which somehow we would fit 6 people in there on a 20
course.
bag. Why not?
Yeah.
Behind the toilet, in this dingy bathroom, behind the toilet, I found this like hole where I would stick in a pint of Old Crow or Old Granddad, anything old.
Yeah.
That was cheap whiskey I bought. Even though I can drink it for free at the bar, I still needed to have it in there.
There's something about hiding it and feel like you're getting over on something you already got a fixed situation in.
Right,
But it's
yeah.
like, I'm going to still hide this in a hole in the sheetrock.
Yeah, it's my pocket whiskey. I had to have it. Like
Yeah.
somehow, and I always had one on me. And again, I was young. I'm not doing that now. But, you know, I would have it in my pocket. And I'm like, man, I need to find a place to put this because I don't want to throw it out, even though it cost me $250, $275. Came in a plastic bottle.
Right.
So,
Can I get a plastic bag with this? Right, you're tied in a knot, you're just walking around.
yeah, hanging off my back pocket.
Uh-huh.
So I found this hole one night. I don't know what I was doing on the floor. I don't even want to know, want to remember, but I found this hole that I just started shoving pints of whiskey in there, like little plastic bottles, and of course the half-done Coke bags in there. And I remember when they started renovating, a friend of mine goes, "You're not gonna believe what we found in the men's room." And he was like, there was bottles and bottles and bottles of your drink of choice in there, and a lot of empty bags. And yeah,
And you probably.
I was so proud of that. I was like,
that's my
yes,
doing.
that was me.
You sniffed out loud with no eye contact. You were, yeah, that's my work. You would act like a construction worker describing the type of wood he laid down on the floor.
Basically, yeah, that's my work.
Yeah, that's mahogany.
I did it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you realize that you're one of the guys that basically drank for free here, you know, because at the end of the night, I just tipped them out. You know what I mean? So it's like,
And you always end up over tipping because you don't know, we're always, like when you're in a situation like that where you got the hookup at the bar, you're always just like, did I give enough?
Yeah.
And you're just putting it out there.
Yeah, well, because I don't know if you did, but I worked in the bar industry, you know, and you know it sucks. Like there's times where like people won't tip you at all, and like you're making tips, so I understand. So I'll always over tip, just to have it.
A lot of people who worked in the service industry are like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people who work in the service industry are also very in tune to artists. And I think that's why we get along. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you respect that. They like musicians. They like comics. They get it. You know, and they're I don't know. It's that same world. You know?
Yeah, I mean, because you kind of understand each other. It's like it's almost the same struggle. I mean, you're a comic. You know how it is. You're either on the road or you're out all night hitting clubs. Kind of the same deal if you're a musician.
Yeah, and
right?
the best nights, yeah, it absolutely is. The best nights are like on Mondays or Tuesdays.
Because it's just what they call industry night, when it's just like, it's all like people that you can actually relate with. I
man.
love that shit.
Yeah, because the weekends are whack.
Oh, fuck that.
The weekends
Who
you
went
get
out on
people.
the weekends?
Yeah,
I didn't.
The weekends you get the motherfuckers who got their outfit ready for the weekend.
Weekend warriors.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, they come in and they were 6 hours at the barbershop waiting for their shape up. You know?
Oh yeah, I know those guys.
You know, they're spending their whatever they make weekly, $5.50, half of that on a bar. They're gonna regret it the following day.
Oh man, that's when they all go in on a bottle, one bottle.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
13 dudes.
Yeah, I went out once with the guys from my neighborhood to a club in Washington Heights.
And you were born and raised in the Lower East Side or uptown?
So no, I'm born and raised. So I born and raised here, but my family, when they migrated here, they all moved down here. So they were on Eldridge, Rivington area.
Which, by the way, back in the days, that area was fucking bad.
Oh, it was terrible.
Like drug infested.
Yeah.
I grew up in Baruch Projects, and then I moved to 3rd Street. But that area for a long time, because the housing situation is different, like old tenement buildings.
Right.
And there was this, I just remember that Orchard, Eldridge, Ludlow, real grimy.
I mean, none of the doors closed. You know, you had your regular crackheads shooting up in the hallways. Mm-hmm. You had your regular prostitutes going around. We knew them by their first names when I was a kid. But I didn't move down there officially till till like 89, 90. So I was living up here in Chelsea, actually, not too far from where we're at.
Okay.
But my
Chelsea, hello.
Hey man, Chelsea was no joke back then either. Where
Right.
I was at, it was pretty grimy, and there was a lot of Puerto Ricans, a lot of Cubans actually too. Where I
Well, in
was
the
at.
Chelsea area?
Yeah, so I was on 8th
Interesting.
Avenue, 16th and 8th. So you remember La Taza de Oro? It was like a Puerto Rican like little hole in the wall.
I do.
So I lived
But
right. on
was that? But that was on 14th Street.
It's so between 14th, 15th, I was right on 16th.
I do remember that spot.
Yeah, so I was right across the street from that place on that same block.
And yeah, so that's really close to like the meatpacking district.
Yeah, but then if you think the meatpacking district back then, it was
It
just
was
that,
grimy.
and then it was grimy at night. Like yo, my dad used to he used to pull up in front of the building, send us up while he went and looked out for parking, so we didn't get a glimpse of what was going on at that time.
Right. Of
It was wild.
all the ghouls popping out of the
Oh
black
my God,
forest.
yeah, because they would just pop out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. It was one of those. You remember it was dark out. Like it's.
So you know what's interesting is that we're getting a little glimpse of that again of the old New York.
We are.
The only difference is it's the beginning of it. So what happens is with COVID, it's starting to reveal its ugly layers, right? Because of COVID, they put everything on pause. So that goes for institutions for mentally disturbed people, drug rehabs, all that stuff. So jails, like COVID has given everyone an excuse to wild out. I mean, and also it's like you could use COVID as an excuse to get out of anything, right? And motherfuckers use that shit to get out of jail. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like,
You know how many people I know I'm not gonna say any names, that were like, oh yeah, I'm out. How did you get
yeah,
out?
how the fuck did you get out? You
It's
still got the
COVID.
ball and chain. Like, what the fuck? But what's wild about it, so I think it's resurfacing. The only difference is back in the days, it was going on for so long that there were, I guess, criminal enterprises thriving. Like we knew old school drug dealers
Right.
who were around for a long time. I don't feel like that's the case right now. It just feels like a bunch of like sporadic criminal activity. I could be wrong. I just don't. I feel like the drug industry or like old school mafioso organized crime is not really abundant, but more like isolated. Kind of reactionary crimes that are violent happening now.
I think a lot of people are pissed off. That kind of brings it out too.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I
anyone that
see.
was on the verge
Yeah.
of being crazy,
It's not even crazy. Because
Yeah.
I've seen some shit. Like just recently, like not just in the news, but like even in the neighborhood kind of deal.
and you're still on the Lower East Side.
No, my parents are. I'm in Chinatown now.
Okay.
So I'm right next to Central Bookings. Like I'm right. Yeah.
You're like 6 feet away from
I didn't
Central
move
Booking.
too far from the danger.
Oh, that has a certain smell too.
It's
downtown. The court area. It's dark.
So that park right there, right? Like I forget what it's called, but it's right. You remember where Winnie's was, that karaoke bar on Bayard?
The Asians love karaoke.
Oh yeah, they had the laser disc too.
Yeah.
So they have that. I call it the peanut gallery because it's just a certain type of group that hangs out there, and it's just like it's The Walking Dead after like 9 o'clock, because when all the businesses closed, there's nothing out there. There's no one walking down the streets. So my girlfriend works a little late, so I walk with her just because I don't want to walk in through there, and it's The Walking Dead. It's just you don't see it. They shooting up right in
Yeah, it's
in
super
open air.
super blatant. Excuse me, I promise it's not COVID. I got my vaccine last Monday. Johnson & Johnson, represent. Okay, sorry about that. I'm a dirtbag. I smoked an American Spirit on my way over here. I still got a head rush. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm a walking contradiction. I run 20 miles and then I go and smoke an organic cigarette, and I think I'm better than everybody.
I'm shocked you're still not smoking it. That takes like 20 hours to smoke.
Yo, American Spirits are like cigarettes with cocaine in it.
I mean, they don't want you to finish it. Someone gave me, I'm a Newport guy. Someone gave me an American Spirit once. I was like, is it menthol? I'm like, fuck it. Beggars can't be choosers, right?
And you out there for 6 hours.
I felt my lung on the top of my throat because I kept like pushing it up. I'm like, what is this? What am I smoking?
Yeah, so what is it? The fact that it's just straight tobacco? It's pretty
I
gross.
have no idea, man. It's just white people shit.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah, I definitely am a fan of it because it's organic, and I'm an easy victim to those words. Organic. So I even like my cigarettes organic.
Okay.
So even if I was to do drugs these days, I would ask my old coke dealer, "Yo, is this organic?"
Are the fields like not pesticide? Like Are you guys not spraying this?
You ever bump into like an old drug dealer that you haven't seen in a long time and they get excited to see you because they know you paid for their PlayStation?
Oh, all the time, man. And they're like, oh, man, I haven't seen you. And it's not like I haven't seen you like I miss you. It's like, hey, man, so here's my number.
Yeah. Oh.
And I'm like, oh, maybe you do want to play the PlayStation. Nah, I get the text message later on at night. It's like, yo, you need anything? Like, no,
I
that's not
know.
how this works.
Yeah, it's
I
so
call
whack.
you. I call you.
I know. Don't call when they call you. You got offended. Like, how dare you?
Super offended. It's like I get a text and I
In
go,
the middle of the day when you're like out with the family, oh, you feel
Then
dirty.
I try to read it out. I'm like, I got CDs for sale. I go, CDs? What? And it kind of takes me like a few minutes. I'm like, CD? Oh, this
Yeah, it's
motherfucker.
annoying.
Get out of here.
I know, it's annoying. I had one, and I bumped into him in the middle of the day, and he saw me, and he started doing a bachata dance.
Oh,
he
my
started like,
God.
he was like, he pointed at me and locked eyes, and then he started like doing like a merengue bachata that he was like happy to see me. I was like, yeah, I'm good. And he was like, yo, and he had like a fanny pack and like oranges on the plastic bag. And he was like, I got you. Sir, and then like he yelled my name out down the back, sir, it's good to see you. And I was like, oh, I was cringing.
It's cringy, right? Yeah, I never give out my real name.
Don't you don't?
No, I don't.
Oh,
you don't
smart.
even know my real name.
It's not out? Oh, you're so grimy, pa.
grimy.
Wait, tell me, your real name is Boost Boogie.
I mean, that too. I got a lot of aliases.
Why?
You
You got enemies?
No, I don't. So my name is Greek.
Wait,
named
what's your
after My
background?
dad. So I'm Dominican.
Okay.
But you know,
Because you're kind of ambiguous that way because you got the swag of like a Puerto Rican, but I can see Dominican. I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican.
Yeah.
But then you kind of got like a punk rock kind of like style,
Yeah.
but then you got the swag of like a rapper. So you kind of embody these different.
I kind of had to. Where
And
I
that's
was
very
growing
New
up.
York shit.
It was. I mean, and it's an interesting story because that's what I was going to tell you about. You know, the smoking of the weed thing with me. So growing up, you know, I had to kind of mask what I really was into. So what I was really into was punk music. I used to listen to Zeppelin, like rock music. Like I was all around. You know, like I wouldn't just stick to one radio station. You know what I mean? I always like. So, but dudes on my block were just banging on that rap, banging on that shit.
And if you show any inkling of being interested in like alternative music or
Forget
heavy metal,
it.
they're
You
like,
were
"Oh, you
Meatloaf.
why? You corny?"
You were Meatloaf.
Yeah.
You got picked on, and I was not trying to get picked on, because I already went to Catholic school, so I was already a walking target. Because everyone in my neighborhood went to PS20, all them schools. I went to a private school, so I was already a walking target, walking home in my. You know, my tie, we used to have a bowling bag where we carried like 20 textbooks, no lie.
Yeah, it was a big like leather bag, right?
Disgusting, like why? And it was like a vomit green and like yellow.
Yeah, with the print St. Bridget's.
Yeah, well, yes, at St. Patrick's. I'm like, why would you give me this bag? You really want me to get my ass kicked?
Yeah, and all the kids in public school, we had Jan Sports with a bunch of strings.
Yup.
The more strings you had, the more
North Face,
yeah,
the
North
kicks.
Face.
I had these Vuelo shoes that we used to have to go to Harlem to buy at like fucking what do you call what was it, Buster Brown?
Buster Brown Favor, Woolworth.
Man,
The thing is, you know, in hindsight, looking back at it, I feel a lot of kids who were brought up in Catholic school have just a better basic education. I feel like the structure-wise, if I had to look at it like in black and white, because I feel like you don't have the distractions of like, oh, look at what this kid's wearing. He got the new sneakers. That takes a good percentage of your time.
Oh, no, absolutely, because
right?
everyone's equal.
Everyone's equal. So I kind of like that, man.
I do too. I didn't mind it because it did help out. It did help out at home. So when I did get clothes, I got good clothes. So that made me more of a bigger dickhead in my neighborhood, because then they're like, oh, not only does he go to Catholic school, but he's coming out here showing off. And I'm like, well, that's because I don't have to buy, you know, a new pair of jeans, you know, every other week or so, you know. So, but I do remember gym. Whenever we had gym, we'd have to wear a sweatsuit, and then that's when we got to shine with the tenis.
Yeah, the
Oh
tennis shoes.
yeah, man. Oh,
Killing them.
Yo, my mom was like, you want Jordans? You want this? It's like, go work.
Nice.
Yo. And I did, man. I had to go work. I worked at my one of family members' supermarket on
So
Allen
you
Street.
started working at a young age.
I was 11.
Wow, first job at 11.
First job.
What were you doing?
I was stacking cans. It was called Naranjo right there on
And
Allen Street.
when you're that young working, you just mature much quicker. You're dealing with adults. You learn the gift to gab.
Right.
Your social skills are just promoted.
Yeah.
You know, I remember my first job, Petland Discounts, age 15, 16. I was so proud. All the kids were selling drugs, and I was smelling like cedar chips and parakeet shit. And I was so proud.
Man, I wish it was that with me.
You weren't proud of your job?
I was proud, but then until I found out that there was a hooker house upstairs.
And you were like, how much do I need? How many cans?
Oh, my God.
Should I do some overtime to get my balls licked?
No, it was what I remember when.
It's so fascinating seeing a hook at a young age.
Well, I didn't know what they were. I mean, I knew what they
you
were.
got like a gut feeling, though.
I knew what they were because in the neighborhood, I was like, okay, I knew streetwalkers. I didn't know whorehouse hookers. They were much cleaner. They left in cars, so a lot of them would wait in there for their cars, and a lot of them were South American. It was run by South Americans, and I guess.
And it's sad because they were probably trafficked.
Oh
and,
yeah, 100%.
You know, like I'm all for, prostitution being legal, drugs being legal, and you hope that if that ever comes about, that's eradicated, you know. But I don't know if it ever is, you know. But that's sad when you think about people being trafficked from other countries and they owe all this money and they gotta fuck
You gotta pay off your debt. Yeah,
that's scary.
You could see the pain, and because I remember, because a lot of them were really nice. I remember it was a Gloria and a Susana, and I forget the other one. There were 3 of them. They were really young, and I got really close with them. But as just friends, like, you know, they'll come and buy stuff. They'll come buy stuff. But I met them once. There was a leak. There was a leak going on, and one of the family members goes,
it was someone else's dirtbag waste stuffing cocaine in the plumbing.
Yeah,
bottles of whiskey.
Well, no, actually, I'll tell you what happened. So I go upstairs, and when I go upstairs, I didn't know. I didn't know that was going on upstairs. I go up, and it's a corridor, and it's just like doors, and then you see someone at the end of the desk. So I go over there, and it's a lady, and she goes, "Oh, that room." And I start knocking on. No one knocked. I had the key. It's a guy passed out, pissed all over himself on the cot. So what was dripping was actually his piss.
Oh.
Now, mind you, I'm 11 years old, and no 11-year-old kid wants to see this shit. You know, there's drugs everywhere. And I'm like, but, you know, it gave me thick skin, you know, as a kid. Because then I knew, I know what's going on out there. And then I also knew the value of money. I knew I had to work. So I was proud of what I was doing. Unfortunately, I had to see, you know,
some of life's uglies.
Some of the ugly parts of life. But that made me also think, hey, this is not something you want to do. So hit the books, you know, get it popping. Like, don't end up in this situation.
Yeah.
So it kind of worked out in a way for me. I felt bad. It was sad. But yeah, it was an eye opener for sure. And you know, just seeing these women, you know, having to go through that and just being trafficked back and forth in a van. I was like,
yeah, that's wild. I always felt a little weird about hearing stories like that because when you see it, first of all, it's a part of like society that is glossed over. Like when you start to really think about the lives of, you know, my mother works for a sanctuary for battered women. So a lot of times they weren't always cases like that, but when they were, you're like, damn, man.
You can see the pain.
Yeah.
It sucks.
And it's such a tragedy because if you're a young woman who is trafficked, how do you get out of that? Like, what, you know, you're an immigrant probably. You know, you there's violence. You know, probably, you know, you're probably dealing with violence.
Yeah.
You're probably being manipulated. Like, there's so many different.
I mean, they were probably like living like. I mean, I watched a lot of Law and Order, and I've seen episodes like that. So my guess is they were probably living like in a house out in Queens, where they would just wake him up. And because I'm telling you, these girls, they were young. I remember this. I have great memory, and I remember this because it's something that, again, no kid should be exposed to, and it's something that's always going to be embedded in you because you know that it's wrong. You know it's fucked up. And I was told never to speak about it. Still to this day, my parents don't know about it.
Yeah.
I'm
They're going to hear
36
about it
years
now.
old. You're right.
They're so, our parents are old. They don't even know how to. They don't
can't even work a phone.
Pero que podcast what? Podcast what?
My mom still calls me. She said the TV doesn't work, and it's because she hit the AV button.
Yeah, it's. I'm glad that we talked about that because what's wild about it is if you're into that. Let's say you're into like buying sex.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, it's not always gonna be like that, but you could be contributing to that world just because you're trying to get a nut off, right?
Right.
And so I think most men. There's men who are dirtbags, so I don't give a fuck, But you gotta understand, like, when you participate in those sort of activities, there's a good chance you're putting money into an organization like that.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because those guys, so basically, the way they let people upstairs, there was one guy. I remember he had an earpiece. Now, this is...
Just the whole operation.
We're talking the 90s, so this earpiece was not what you see now, like a flesh tone. Like, this was like a fucking... like a piece of debris in his ear, right? And he's just, he'll send the guy upstairs like, okay.
What they call the John.
Yeah. Oh, he's going upstairs, and he let him up. But I didn't, I was so young that I couldn't put two and two together. Until then, when I went upstairs, and I was like, oh, I thought this was just like a storage room. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a storage room or apartments. But yeah, but now, now it's a different ballgame, I guess, Now it's...
You ever been to Amsterdam?
No.
So I went to Amsterdam, and so prostitution is legal out there.
Right.
And it was weird. So I was excited. I went with two platonic girlfriends of mine, and we had a great time. We went to I believe, Brussels. We went to Germany, we went to Amsterdam, and there was another stop in Prague. And in Amsterdam, that was our last stop. And, we had to hit the red light district.
Right.
And I just remember, like, going down that strip, and you look in windows, like storefront windows.
Yeah.
And there's women just, showcasing what they have to offer. The funny thing is, that like any industry of someone who's fed up with their job, they display those characteristics. There was girls on their cell phones, just like
just giving up,
lazy, just gave up. There was like a little person, like on, dancing, but a lot of them just looked like there was a void in their eyes.
Do you think like desensitized?
Yeah,
just like like it's just not there anymore.
Yeah, just you're not there anymore. And listen, I think there are people, who probably entrepreneurs, like people who are okay with it. They're private. I guess they're what's the word I'm looking for? They're independent. And they probably make a killing. They probably got their own thing going on. And props to those. But if you're forced to do it, or if you don't really see they have any options, that's sad.
Yeah, that's always an ugly side to everything, to be honest with you. And that's one.
And I think that's the inevitable. Like, I think there's always going to be that.
Well, because there's so much money to be made in that industry. Who doesn't want to fuck?
Right.
Even,
same thing with drugs.
Yeah.
Even if it's legalized, there's always going to be
There's always going to be someone under there that's just going to offer you something that you're not going to get from said person. You know what I mean? And that's where you have to like separate yourself from those worlds. And seeing that part made me really disgusted. Like seeing these girls, like, I'm not gonna lie, like it was bad. Like I'm like, no one deserves that. I have a sister, I have a mother, no one wants to see that. But hey, nowadays, empower to the women that are doing it, doing that as a profession, independently. Hey, by all means.
And I feel like right now, there's a lot of it. I feel like that OnlyFans shit on Instagram is basically a mask for a lot of that shit.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with that?
I'm very familiar with it because I have a lot of friends that are always like, hey, did you got my OnlyFans? I go, no.
And they're women or men and women?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are they partaking? Is it more of like they'll show things off, or do you think it has the ability to get more if more money is offered?
I'm not sure because I didn't venture in there.
Yeah.
I'd rather not touch that. I don't. Because it's weird. It's weird because,
you just sit back and don't break eye contact. Yo, you fucking or not?
I'm like no. Like,
I know, it gets a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like going to strip clubs, right? Like, I'm not a fan of strip clubs.
Me neither. I've never been.
It makes me uncomfortable. Like, even when I go to the bars and they have go-go dancers, I'm sitting there and I go, can you move that way? Like, it's just weird. Like, I feel like a creep. That creep that wears a trench coat that comes in and, like, peace to those guys that are into that, man. I'm not
Well,
knocking
there's
nobody's
people who
shit,
are
but-
addicted to that shit. We
Yes.
talk about those weekend warriors. There's motherfuckers who go to the strip clubs and that is their status. They're like how much money they spend. They kind of create a relationship with the entertainer, and that is wild. How you're funneling all your money into it's a fantasy because it's not real.
It's not real. No, it's definitely not real. They give you a fake
It's like
name.
a drug too, like the confidence you get from drinking or drug. You're buying that feeling, but it's not real.
I'd rather have the drug dealer dance a merengue in front of me than the stripper coming up to me.
Word, that's far more
You know
entertaining.
what I'm saying? That's a little more awkward.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if I'm with my girlfriend. She's like, "What the fuck is that?"
I
go,
know, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, like, I don't say anything. What?
Nah. No, but hey, like I said, to each his own, but like me personally, I don't find that entertaining at all. I find it, again, not knocking anyone, but to me, I don't like it. I got invited to a lot of places before, and I have gone and I'm like sitting there and girls come up to me and I look like that like awkward like virgin's about to bust a nut in his pants and they want to dance. I go, no.
It's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So I don't like.
I never have friends who are really into it, but I know of people who are like, yo, I'm going to the strip club. And I'm like, yo.
Yeah, like dudes on my bike. We're going to the club. I'm like, what club? We're going to whatever. I don't know, Dollhouse or who cares?
And there's different ones, and they always have. They never feel like. I may have been probably like to 2 or 3 in my life, and it was because it was like a birthday party, and I never stood there long. But it always, and I've been to 2 different types. I've been to a real grimy one. I actually went with like a mixed group, girls and guys.
Okay.
And it was like, it felt like a lot of gangsters were there. It had that vibe,
it's
like
a
drug
status
dealers.
thing. It's a status
Yeah,
thing.
so when I went there, it was like in the Bronx, and it felt very like gangster. I
Would
felt
you
like
go
this.
to Rendezvous? Because that's where I went to.
Yeah, it was one of
Bronx.
those, and it felt very like anything could pop off. Like there was
Instantly.
good.
A lot of tension.
Yeah, it was like cruiser guys with like furs.
Yeah.
and like blunts, and it was a lot of Hennessy. So that was one, and I felt mad uncomfortable. Like that caught myself just drinking to desensitize myself from all the
Right.
awkwardness I was feeling. And then I went to another one, more upscale, but it was like these fucking, real fucking dirtbag, professional Wall Street white guys who were just fucking layered with arrogance, like,
The
hey, look,
cufflinks and,
yeah. Oh, look at that fucking Latina, talking like that, like, I love me a fucking Latina,
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
like that, like,
yeah.
oh, Miss Caliente, come on.
Yeah, 2 places I don't want to be caught in.
Yeah,
because it just
whack.
makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like, and then I did the bachelor party. Those were interesting. You did the bachelor party?
I walked into one. Never had a bachelor party. None of my friends are getting married. I'm not the only one.
I went to a friend's bachelor party, and
it was
called
at someone's
girls. It was
house?
at a hotel.
Okay.
Man, I watched some
That probably gets
gonzo
freaky.
porn, but the shit those chicks were doing on that floor, I was like, this shit got weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it got really weird.
And it's weird. Like you're just in a hotel room. There's like 8 dudes.
But like, what? Yeah. Then what happens with these two chicks? They just like high five each other. They're done. It's like, yo, good night. Like,
Yeah.
After they just
That was a good night of work.
yeah, after.
And do they
whatever-
clean the tools that they use, or
To
do they
be
just put
honest
it?
with you, I was so drunk and fucked up. I don't know what they
Because I
were
know they're
doing.
using toys, and
Yeah.
they have a bag for it. Like,
They had a suitcase.
This is
These
suit-
girls came in.
Did it have
to
wheels?
play.
Did it just, like,
they
roll
did
it
had the
in?
wheelies. They were here to party. They had that in a duffel bag, so they had
duffel
outfits. They were going in and out, and I'm like, wow, these girls are professional.
Yeah.
And my boy was like, yeah, man, they came here to party, and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I can stay for this. I don't want to know what happens at the end. Like,
Yeah.
It's like watching a really scary movie, and you're over it, and you just kind of want to run away from it. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I felt. I was like, no, I gotta go. I don't want to watch this. But again, to everyone, that's into that, that's cool, but I just can't do it, man.
Yeah, I'm not into that shit either.
It's good. Like I get married, bachelor party, I don't even know if I want one. If I do, it'll probably be me and my boys going on like a regular old night. Just more cocaine.
Yeah.
That's it. Because it'll probably be the last time I'm gonna do it.
Right.
But yeah, man, it's wild.
Have you ever got a bad drugs that scared the shit out of you?
Yes, absolutely. One time it was really bad.
That's scary.
It was scary, but I knew it was bad. I knew it was
And then you
bad.
still go through with it.
No. I knew it was bad the minute So the thing is, I can't smell, right? So technically, like,
So if I farted right now, you would have
can
flinched.
wail away, man. This is why like
We would do well together. We were roommates because I fought nasty. My wife
But
and,
see,
and
then
my
you
daughter.
would hate me because I'm a dog.
Yeah, you look like you throw nasty farts.
Oh, big time.
Something about your glasses that suggests something.
These are my going out glasses. You don't want to see my at home
Oh,
glasses.
something about your glasses suggest that your farts are putrid.
And you don't want to see the
Like they-
sweatpants. That's bad.
They got like holes in it.
Nah, they don't got holes, but they're a little faded. You know something bad's going on down there.
That's hilarious.
And my girl goes, look at your pants. The paint's falling off. I go, yeah, I guess.
It's funny. We get comfortable at home, right?
You know, and that's good because if you're not comfortable at home, especially in front of your lady, then
Yeah, that's
That's-
home.
yeah, cute. Yo, I remember when I was a kid, I was younger, and I would go home with a girl, and I had to fart, and I hold it in the whole time, man, because I just
the
could not let
worst.
it grow. Yo, like my stomach will be this big, and then she want to sit on top of me.
You're like this all stiff and shit.
I got bad reviews, man. I got bad reviews the next day. I was
Hell
like, the
yeah, you
guys are
can't.
bad.
You can't focus.
But then, yo, I just got to the point I just got on my old man status, and I was just like, yo, fuck it. You fart too. I bet you your shit smell worse than mine. And it's true.
I remember I was a couple of dates in. I was like 21, and I really liked this girl, and she and I was real gassy this day, like, but they weren't smelly, but they were loud. So something I ate or something I did, I just had a lot of, and they were farts that were coming out like this, like very airy, but they didn't smell. But I can't be farting like that. It was just air, you know. And I kept on going to my kitchen in the studio apartment and putting my asshole on the screen, and she was like, "What's going on over there?" And I was like running the water.
Screen on the window?
Yeah, I was just putting my ass. Like well dressed too, like she, came over to my house for a little dinner
Yeah.
and drink. I'm like outside the window. I went to the kitchen like 12 times.
Wow.
To far out the. She must have
Well,
heard it.
good thing you didn't go to the bathroom 12 times.
No, that's why I had to break it up. Like I said, you want another drink? And,
Oh my god.
and I was coughing while I farted to break it up.
Well, good thing you didn't do it on a towel, because I've done it in a towel. I'm sure I gave some girls pink eye. Not gonna lie. That's one way to silence it. You ever try to fart in the toilet? It's like it really wants everyone to hear it. It's like an echo. It's like, why?
Oh no! When you're taking a shower.
Yeah, we're taking a shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
No. But you ever take a shower and the heat of it?
oh, that just stays there.
Yeah, that stays there.
That
It's
Steve
thick.
just says we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
Hanging why?
And why do we like it?
I don't know.
Yo, why do we like? We don't mind it. Men don't mind their own farts.
No,
you
that's,
think women
I'm
do
telling
that?
you, I'm like a basket mine in the blanket. I'm like, I
Well,
don't know.
you swim in your own farts like a seal?
I guess, man.
That was very seal like
a
that
walrus. Like I'm just like a fat walrus, just like roaming around. Like I don't give a shit. Cause it doesn't bother me. But let her fart if I could smell it. Cause
You ever got in trouble because of your farts? I was on La Nina one time, and it was like it wasn't really populated. It was like 20 people, and some hood chicks go in there. And I was drinking a Corona. I remember I had a Yankee fitted button down. Early 2000s, that look. The button downs, the Yankee fitted, Timberland boots, crisp, not tied.
Gotcha.
And I threw a nasty fart. I made eye contact with a girl, and I walked over to her to diffuse. I was like, "Damn, man, some motherfuckers in here are nasty." She's
No.
like, "Stop playing!" And she started using the N-word. She said, "Stop playing! You nasty! You nasty,
Cause
man!"
you're drunk, you dragged it with you.
Yeah, she was like, "You nasty, you front, don't lie, you stink, you stink." She was yelling at me, and I left the bar. She was like, "Yeah, you fronting. You trying to make it seem like it was somebody else. You nasty.
Yep.
You farted." And I was like that. And then I went up to her. I was like, "Please, shh."
You did those. Be quiet.
"Shh, you want a drink?" She's like, "You stink. You stink."
And that bar's small.
Just small.
The whole fucking
Yo,
place must have heard you.
Yeah, dog, it was so embarrassing. I left a half Corona, my fitted hat, and I left. I didn't come back for months.
Go back to New Orleans tomorrow.
I went to the Mars bar.
Damn. Well,
Remember-
there you can fucking shit your pants and no one will give a crap. I remember that bar.
Remember Mars bar?
I never used the bathroom. I go outside and pee in the alleyway.
Mars bar had roaches in it.
You think that's all they had in there? There was fucking old. There's like 20-year-old shit in the toilet down.
That was such a. So Mars bar, I mean, that place is legendary.
It really is. In the
So
most
where was it?
disgusting way.
It was Bowery? Was it like Bowery
It's
or
on.
First?
It was on first.
No, is there such
first
thing?
and second.
First and second. I worked for a plumbing company, and one of the plumbers there, he was like a mess. He was heavy into drinking, and he looked like you ever seen a chick that just came out the egg, like a newborn chick, and their hair's all wet and they look ugly?
He's like sweaty, like
yeah,
greasy.
he looked like that all the time.
Yeah, greasy guy.
Yeah, he had foggy glasses, crooked. He was a genius plumber, but he was just a fucking mess. I used to love that spot.
You know, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Was he overweight?
No, he was actually very thin.
Really?
He was very
'Cause
thin.
There was another guy that was like that. But he had bottle like lens. It was always.
Yeah,
How do you see him?
Weird characters.
Yeah, no, there was so many weird characters in there.
But I love that about like that's like new. That's like those staple guys like the old New York. You had and they lived their own lives. I mean, it was awkward. I remember Tompkins Square Park. Remember Tompkins before when it was Tent City?
Oh,
Do you remember that?
Needle Park?
Yeah,
Of course.
And there was a woman who was like 8 feet tall. She used to wear a motorcycle helmet, and we never saw her face. And she was just walking out and paint.
No, I never saw. But you remember Elias Jules?
Elias Jules.
Yeah, he was like one of like the oldest but most notorious crust punks that ever hung out there.
And when you say crust or crust?
Crust.
What does that mean?
Like he's a crust punk. Like he's one of those like
cruddy?
No, like like the train hoppers, the guys you see with the dogs and stuff. Like he was one of those,
so like a squatter kind of guy.
Yeah, like that. All that balled into one.
Yeah.
But he was in.
I feel like we don't see squatters as much.
Not anymore.
Holy shit! Since COVID.
Yeah. That's right. You know what?
Oh my God!
Because there was a lot of them before.
There was
COVID.
a lot of them. They made like a comeback.
Yeah.
Some of them were fake squatters. Some of them like lived in Connecticut.
All like fucking rich kids.
Yeah, they got the cell phones.
Listen, when you're wearing a $75 Carhartt overalls and
but they used to sleep in the street, eat from the garbage, have a pit bull with them.
Yeah.
And then life is so tough, dude. You got $1?
Well, you know where there are. A lot of them are in New Orleans.
Interesting, because it's warmer, maybe?
Warmer, it's cheaper, and they get to like bum around there more.
Yeah, and it's New Yorkers ain't having that shit anymore. Like, fuck out of here. It must be harder for them, because now they're dealing with real street people.
Well, when they were up here, I mean, they were squatting around, what is that, where Strands is? Where like that area?
Like 14th Street?
Yeah.
Interesting. Like Union Square Park around.
But I don't think they're welcome anymore.
I don't see them anymore.
Nah.
I mean, there was a couple of them that were like real. Like, I remember this one girl. She had a tattoo of an X right across her face. She just tattooed an X. I mean, if that's not anarchy, like this X in your face out.
I mean, that could be too. Yeah, that could be like fuck my shit up, or like I'm done, or straight edge. I don't know. This is weird, man. Those kids are fucking weird.
I know.
I never really hung around.
They smelled.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like really bad.
Really bad.
Like I know homeless people that.
And they're always young. Like, I never seen an old squatter. Like, after a while, they retire.
Well, I think that's what I'm saying. Elias Jules kind of upgraded. And,
so tell me about Elias Jules.
No, he was always getting beat up on Tompkins.
I feel like I know that name. What did he look like?
Oh, man, I mean, he looked like he had face tattoos, but again, so do all. I don't know, but he gave me a vest one day, drunk. He gave me a vest.
Is he still around?
No, he died.
Okay.
He died.
How did he pass away?
Oh man, I don't remember. But
was it fairly recently? Because I remember. No, this guy didn't have face tattoos.
He used to always. His spot was right across the street from Ray's.
Wow, I'm sure I know him.
Yeah, if you see this guy, you pull him up, you'll be like, oh, that guy. You'll know who he is. Everybody knew who he was. I don't know if it was an OD, but he definitely died. He died a while ago, because I remember when he died, people were doing tributes and stuff, but a lot of people didn't like him. I thought he was great. I used to see him. He never asked me for money, because one time I had it with him. I'm like, look, I know what you're going to do. If you want food, I'll go get you food, but I'm not going to pay for for you to go fucking shoot heroin.
Right.
And kill yourself. I'm not going to be part of that. And he understood it, and we had a mutual respect for each other after that.
How were you coming in contact with him? He would go to the bar you worked at?
No, I was just always around. I used to skate a lot, too, at that time. So I would just skate around the East Village, skate around the park, and just kind of like chill. I was all around, man. Like I skated. I didn't do the inline thing, but I biked.
So you were into skateboarding? Were you into like graffiti and shit?
I did not.
I never got into it. Like no. I got into it a little bit, but not heavy.
I know a lot.
Now
of
it's like a nuisance. When I was young, I was like, that shit's cool. Now I'm like, I fucking better not see one of these guys I grew up with their tag on my building. I'm like old now. Yeah. Like I don't care if you do that shit.
Get off my lawn, Tim.
Yeah,
I'm too.
Yeah, fuck that. I mean, like at the age of once you have salt and pepper. on your beard, you're still walking around with a marker? Like,
Yeah.
come on, dogs.
Yeah,
and there should be designated areas for that, not residential.
It's one of those habits that a lot of people can't break. You know?
Yeah, it's like spitting.
Yeah.
But except no, it's not like spitting because it is. It's a bad habit, like spitting, but it's kind of like it needs to be channeled differently. At a certain age, I think you need to just do designated areas, not just at residential.
Well, so there, and I learned this hanging around a lot of these graffiti guys is that there's different types. So you got ones you call toys, I guess, and
Yeah, they're kind of whack.
yeah, they like wannabes, and they'll like buff people out or do some. Then you got the old school cats that'll just do really nice pieces.
Yeah,
and,
which
like,
I'm fascinated by.
Yeah, well, that's great.
Like cope, right? That's a. You ever heard that tag? Cope, COPE.
I mean, I've seen it, but
That's saying, like when I see that, I'm like, damn, he's been around for years.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it stands out. There's like these tags that kind of
like
pop
you
out.
want to hit the top of like whatever.
Remember
billboards
Revs?
and stuff? I do remember that.
And like that
pork and stuff.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I see that, I don't get as mad because I feel like I guess that's the way they do it. It's kind of like it became a New York staple.
Right. You got Cost.
Yeah.
You got a lot of those guys, and that's again, it's vandalism in a tasteful way. But then you got kids that'll just do it just to be dicks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what I feel like. How you feel when you say that?
So what do you think we just don't understand it to where it's like they're doing it, and is that putting their dues? Like are they, the Revs and Cost and the guys we kind of like look the other way because they've been doing it so long. Did they do the same thing? Maybe that's
maybe yeah. Again, I'm not.
But
really
there's something
into that
they have
world,
an
but-
eye for it because they know where to do it.
Yeah.
But they have all different instruments they use. Like Revs will actually use paint rollers, I think,
Yeah.
and mask like the side of a building, which is impressive. How the fuck they get away with
When
that?
they use fire extinguishers. And,
That's annoying because that spreads all over the place.
yeah, but that's also like kind of genius to do
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Because you're like, who the fuck came up with that? To go, hey, I'm gonna shove paint in this thing and make it to the point where they do it within
And they
seconds.
do it quick.
Yeah, and it's there.
You get in a lot of trouble for that. I mean, those guys could get locked up in due time. And just imagine being like graffiti artists and fucking Rikers. Like.
Oh, I'm sure. But again, it's just it's a world that I didn't really touch into because it's also very competitive. Everyone, it's like you either got to be part of a crew.
You get killed doing that shit.
People get killed if you even touch someone's tag and they find you. It's worse than selling drugs in someone else's block, to be honest.
Because you're not making any money.
No, but it's all about respect.
Yeah.
At least if I go and sell on someone's block and he catches me, I'm like, oh, my bad, I didn't know that was your corner. We'll call it even. But this is like it's deeper. It's deeper.
I know, it gets
It's a
deep.
deep culture, and only those guys know how they handle themselves. But I'm not.
There was a video that went viral, and I don't remember the graffiti artist, but there's like street art too, like guys who do nice murals, but
Yeah.
graffiti artists don't like them.
Yeah.
Because they'll go over tags.
Like paste, what do you call that? Wheat pasters and stuff.
Yeah.
I know a couple of guys that do that, and they get no shine for it.
Yeah, and the guy confronts him. He says, yo, my boy had his tag up here. He died. Fuck out of here with the street art shit. He smacks like the fucking paint can out.
It's just,
And then he tags over the guy's work.
and then you got the NYPD now coming back, and they're gonna go zip all over all of their shit, so everybody's
Right.
fucked. Cause I saw that. Did you see that? The NYPD's running around with the
Well,
graffiti
yeah,
tag.
yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I saw that and I laughed. Cause I'm like,
So what's the NYPD doing now?
well, they're just repainting over all the graffiti, especially in the lower.
So now
you're
someone
basically-
told me that they saw that. I didn't see that.
yeah. So basically, now what they're doing is just giving everybody else more room to paint.
So officers in New York, well, all the crime going on have been reduced to taking care of graffiti.
Yes, they managed to do that.
Wow.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, I mean, the cops, they don't know what to do. Like their higher ups are probably like, let those drug dealers go, but here's a paintbrush and a can.
Yeah, please go take this up.
Don't forget
Before
your paint stick.
before
Gotta mix
the
it
white
up.
people in the glass buildings get upset. Because at least it gives color to the neighborhood. I don't mind it.
They like
some of the stuff is okay. I like it. I'm like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to love walking down the neighborhood and seeing like great, artwork on the street. As opposed
It's just as long as it's not on my building.
Exactly. Well, I mean, they don't come around my building. I'm in Chinatown, so I'm good.
So, have you feel like you've seen a dramatic energy being negatively put on Asians, or you haven't seen it?
So
Because you're like in a mix of
actually,
it. And the thing is, like, older Asian people, they're out and about. Like they're out working. They throw themselves in the mix of things.
Listen, whatever herbs they're taking and stuff, I want in on it.
Because they're resilient.
Because the building I live in, it's only four stories, 2 apartments each floor, and it's older Asians that live there, and they are like, one lady's constantly up and down in the mornings, like exercising. The other guy's like smoking, working, doing it, but they're like well off in their age.
I love the way Asians smoke. They smoke in a squatted position like a catcher at a baseball game, right? And they just put them shits away like.
I want to know how to squat like that and not catch a cramp.
Yeah.
I like that.
They are agile. You ever seen them sit with their legs crossed? It's like a spiral.
They just know what they're doing.
They do. And when they work out, they spank their own ass.
They do, right? They cheer themselves on. I like that.
I mean, I love that. When I lived on Grand Street, and they would do like I used to love watching the Asian.
The Tai Chi.
Yeah, doing the Tai Chi.
It's great.
It's
cool.
Good.
I
really
like
cool.
it. It's kind of soothing to watch.
It
that.
is.
And
it
especially joining in. I never did, but
And you could join in, and they won't flinch. They're like,
they don't give a shit.
They love it.
These are the nicest people in my building. They're super nice. But no, actually, you mentioned that last night. So there's like this plant shop right next to my building, and it's this young girl that's always there, and she closes late. And my girlfriend left to go to work, and she's like, "Oh, someone's trying to follow her."
Oh God.
So I've been kind of doing my civil duty in that neighborhood because I know everyone.
I can just picture you with your jogging pants with the Clorox stains on it.
Oh yeah, I was actually.
Your home
I had
glasses.
my blue shorts.
You're like,
I had a camo jacket.
You got to
brass
prep
knuckles
yourself
in
to
my
get up.
pocket.
Oh, brass knuckles are a good weapon.
I know they're illegal as fuck.
They're
but
illegal as
hey.
fuck. Yo, when you order them, it's hilarious how it's a paperweight.
Oh no, mine came as a belt buckle. And it says hate on it.
Oh.
But hey,
Have you ever used brass knuckles?
I have, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's bad.
Did you knock them out
Oh,
cold?
big time.
Yeah.
It's like shattered this whole side of the guy's head.
Fuck.
Yeah, so it's dangerous. So I like to go for the ribs.
Yeah, body shot.
Body
listen,
shots.
with everything going on, we're gonna go back to that store. I'm just ADD.
Yep.
I think, and I know how to box, right? But I don't want to box. I don't want to fight somebody. So listen, because in a street fight, it's all out, and that's the last resort. But if I'm touched, someone gets crazy. It's nice to have something like that because it's like I'm gonna disarm you with these knuckles or baton. Like you still want to fuck with this, you need a little edge because they got that crazy energy.
And you don't know what these guys have.
You don't know what the fuck they have.
I don't know if you saw. I posted on my Instagram. It was a photo of a guy on 110th Street. He had a wad of cash this thick hanging off.
I saw that.
And he's walking around in front.
Which, by the way, I love your Instagram. So you're the funniest motherfucker on there.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I get a lot of.
So funny. Where do you get your? Where do you get your?
People send me stuff.
Okay,
A lot of people
so
just
it's
send
original. First of all, like sometimes there'll be shit floating around on Instagram. Like I've seen it before. It's funny.
Yeah.
But all your stuff is seems like original content I've never seen before.
A lot of stuff I do my own. Like I like.
So funny.
Thank you. But that was real. That.
So there was a guy.
Yeah.
He was a young man. He had probably like $10,000.
It had to be about 10 grand in cash.
in a fucking stack in his back
back pocket, right?
On the train.
So he's wearing the tightest jeans possible and a little shirt and a jacket, right? But then he has a cross bag underneath. I'm not stupid. And he's walking back and forth on the platform, and then you got these 2 tourists. They go, because I lowered my headphones. There's money about. And he's acting like, where? I'm like, all right. I know what you're doing. He's baiting. He's baiting someone.
Why is he doing that?
I don't know, because people are bored. It could have been a stack of dollars and just maybe a couple hundreds above it.
It's weird, man. People are strange.
It's really strange, and I was fascinated by it because I'm like, in a time like in this time that we're living in right now, where people are like,
it's very antagonizing.
Unemployed, and people are struggling, and you're running around in Harlem with money hanging out your butt, you're basically baiting people. So I'm like, this guy's either fucking nuts or he's got a gun and he's out trying to do something bad to somebody.
So weird.
So I was trying so hard to get that photo because I'm like, no one's gonna believe this.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, wow. I think I responded to it.
You did. I caught it, and I was because no one was gonna believe me because I was like, I just saw this guy with a stack, and it wasn't like he had it rolled up. It was just open. It was just like hanging out his back pocket. You could have easily walked behind and pull it out. And I'm like, yo, like there's something wrong with people, man. Like walking around like that.
We definitely live in a day and age where people enjoy the attention. I think we always have, but now that it can be it's so readily available that we live in a time where any sort of attention, whether it be negative or positive, like they just want attention.
You want shock value.
Yeah.
You want to be on Instagram. You want to be on TikTok.
It's a weird thing.
It's
a very strange.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times young people are like that. So, but now with the tools readily available, I think it makes for a very, it makes a left turn, and it's going to affect us as a human race.
I really think so,
and it already has.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying anything like profound. It's just so strange.
Well, remember, it all started as a place to make friends.
Now, like a lot of enemies are being made.
I mean, hey, man, you got keyboard thugs and people meeting up.
Just look at everything that's considered mainstream or pop. Like me and you, we enjoy music, we enjoy comedy. We talk about going out when we go out on Monday nights. We talk about, like old Lower East Side, holes in the walls. And that's locally, but this like abroad where it's a different thing. But the mainstream drive, look at the rapper who got the most attention, a guy like Tekashi. Look at the boxer who's getting the most attention, Jake Paul.
Wow.
Look, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and not to say like these guys don't have talent, because they do.
Right.
But what's driven and what's more exciting is the controversy.
It's the drama.
It's the drama.
That's what drives you.
It's the shit talk. It's the negative, it's like people want to see it, they want to see what it turns into. But I think it has the potential to be very dangerous.
Yeah, because, think about it. Have you actually listened to any Tekashi records since we wanted to talk about him real quick?
No, please, yeah.
I've not listened to one full track, but I love just watching.
You're fascinated by it.
Because, this kid puts himself out there and in so much danger. Like, he doesn't give a shit. Like someone like you and I, we know there's certain things that you can't say, that can't do.
I know, and I think he knows better. So what happens? Like you become addicted to fame, because I think that's what it is. I think it's an addiction to fame. Just like if we're addicted to a drug, you just go all out for it. It becomes unmanageable, and I think that's what happened to him. I think he became addicted to fame because it's unmanageable. Now he's holed up somewhere. He comes up with a video every 4 weeks. I mean, he even asked Ben Askren, the guy who fought Jake Paul, if he could walk him out. Like, he's starving for fame.
That's crazy.
It's wild. And he's and the thing is, I try to look at it with a non-judgment. So of course I did in the beginning, but then I researched him a little bit. And it's not like he's not a powerful performer. Like, he knows how to engage a crowd. I don't like the music, but it's just not my thing. But there's something that he got talent.
It's an energy.
It's an energy.
Great energy.
And it's a wave that people really like. There was people who liked it, and he was popular overseas. But the shit talk and the gang, because gang culture is people love gang culture. We've loved it for years, right?
Yeah.
Big Mike, Killer Mike the rapper. Yeah. He said something funny about the Bloods and Crips, not in a condescending way, but he said the Bloods and Crips. Who doesn't know about the Bloods and Crips? They have such a great marketing strategy. They should sell Pepsi. They should sell their own cola.
I mean...
Yeah, and he did that. He was like, why don't you guys sell your own cola?
He ain't lying.
No.
Everybody knows.
Yeah.
You either being referenced in every pop culture, any TV show, anywhere. You always hear it. Not bad. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I lived in Bed-Stuy for a little bit. I lived with Julian. I was his roommate, and we lived on a block.
Julian's a trainer, amateur boxer at Overthrow, which, by the way, that's how me and Al met at Overthrow Boxing Club, which is a nice, interesting group of people because it's like a lot of, it has like a punk rock vibe. The sentiment of the club was like underground fighting that was, and it has like that kind of alternative vibe. But what my most what I like most about it is that it really promotes a community vibe too, which is dope.
It brings together all the misfits. And
Yes, misfits.
Yeah, all like the, what's the word I'm looking for? It was just like all the latchkey kids. You know what I mean? But like in a positive way.
In a positive way. And artists like Clayton.
Right.
Now his first name is Clayton. What's his last name?
Patterson.
Clayton Patterson. I always forget his last name because I'm calling him the black civil rights leader. Clayton Patterson? Adam Clayton? I'm always like,
you get it mixed
it's
up?
Clayton Patterson.
Yeah.
So I want to go back to the Asia story because just in case I fucked up the climax, but I want to say Patterson. Clayton Patterson. Talk about a Lower East Side native installation. Well, I don't know if he's
not a native,
but a real important installation.
He moved in a time where, the neighborhood was in turmoil, and he documented everything from the Tompkins Square riots to the club scenes to the crime all around the neighborhood. So. To be honest, thank God there was someone like him that died. I mean, back then there was no Instagram. There was nothing.
So we walked by. What was it? 151 Ludlow, I believe, was where he had the shop.
Yeah,
or his storefront.
No, it's on Essex.
Oh, 151 Essex. Yeah. No, it's not 151. It's on Essex.
It's on Essex.
Yeah. I'm trying to get the address. 151 is like the old Laugh Lounge club I used to work at. But the neighborhood kids will walk by, and Clayton will have his camera and take pictures of all the kids and then post them. And if you wanted to, and this is before Instagram.
So that's what I called it the hood Instagram. So you would knock on his door, right? That's what we used to do. We should knock on his door. He'll come out with his camera and he'll tell you, post up on the door, take a flick, and within days, maybe a week, you'll walk by, and in the window, you see all the kids looking through the gate.
How exciting was that?
And you see a photo, and then you're like, oh, shit, so-and-so was here. Yeah. And then that's how you connect.
And they used to pay him like $3 or $4 for the photo if you wanted it.
If you wanted it,
yeah. And I bought a photo, too.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like 3 of mine. I gotta wait on that.
Yeah.
Because it's with someone I don't really want to associate myself with. But that's another story.
It's sad to look at because a lot of those people are dead.
Yeah.
A lot of those people are in prison.
I see a lot of my friends that have unfortunately passed away to drugs and violence they're on there. And like he's got a display now. He's got over 300 photos on St. Mark's. And this where the bank was. They got like 300 photos up there, and there's like 2 of mine up there that I saw. So
that's cool.
Yeah. But that was the hood Instagram. It was because you knew who was out, you knew who was hanging out with who. So if somebody lied and said, "Yo, this dude jacked me," or "This dude this on me," you're like, "Oh, but wait, I saw you with Fulano over there."
Yeah.
And you lying? Why you lying? Because I saw you on Clayton's wall.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Clayton was an interesting dude. He's like this tall white man. He had gold teeth,
big beard.
Yeah, big heavy beard. Sometimes he used to braid the beard.
Yep. And cameras, and then he had the tats, and then he had these
cool motherfucker,
hats.
man.
He's great, man. He's great. I've been like connecting with him more. I was there actually Saturday. So now he wants Curtis and actually to manufacture some of his hats and stuff. So we're gonna work on that.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be good.
And so is that what you're leaning towards? Because I feel like you got real creative energy.
I got my hands in a lot of things, right? So now I'm a barber. So I got into that.
Dope. That's always a good. It's like my boxing. It's like a good skill to have.
It's a good skill to have. It's a good trade because everyone needs a haircut. Let's be honest. So during COVID, I was out of job, and then I'm like, well, what can I do? So school was open. I was like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I've always been wanting to do it. My mom's a hairdresser, so I got into it.
And you have a great personality for it. Everyone likes you. Like your barber needs to be a good conversationalist.
Yeah, you got to chat him
up.
You
can have a barber that doesn't talk, and when he talks, he got bad breath.
It's like a tattoo artist that sits there with his headphones on, and he's tattooing you for 3 hours. It sucks. Trust me, I've been there before. I've gotten tattooed by guys like that.
That's whack. Every tattoo I got, I remember sitting down with the guy. This guy travels the world. Yeah. He tells me his experiences. It's dope.
And then you got guys that go, boop, plug in their shit, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll watch Sons of Anarchy on my fucking phone.
That's whack.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you don't want to go back to that artist.
No, never. No.
You got some good work. I like your work.
Thank you, yeah.
What's that style called? It's a specific look.
It's a mix of traditional Nothing new, but like mostly traditional. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's traditional.
So
What was your first tat?
Oh,
We always regret that one or no? I had a lion head I went over.
this is my my first tattoo is right here.
The tribal?
Tribal. I was 14.
He got the Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto
it's
tribal.
something. It was done by a biker that was my neighbor. And,
What did you get it in his crib?
in his apartment, yeah.
Okay.
He lived
Have
right
you-
across.
My first tattoo was at what's the place on A Street, right before St. Mark's.
A Street, I mean, there's a lot. There's whatever. There's Andromeda.
The one that was been there, it was the first tattoo shop. They say
Fun City.
Fun City.
Fun City.
My first one by a guy named Snake Eyes, and the owner told me, I was like, one of the guys that worked there, he was like, yeah, he's no longer here. And then it was like so sinister. I was
Yeah.
like, yes, okay, I'm not gonna ask any more questions.
Especially there.
Yeah, they're mean, right?
They're mean,
Well, I this is years ago.
Well,
When
not now. Now, like the guy that owns it now, he's mean, but he's chill.
Yeah.
He's good.
So
But
what?
back in those
we're talking about over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
They were mean, and they were nice to me. But I remember being there, and this guy was looking, and I was getting my tattoo. I got like the first and second one. And he said, "May I help you?" The guy was tattooing the second tat I got. And he's like, "No, just look." He said, "Get the fuck out."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Excuse me?" He said, "Get the fuck out. You don't know what you want." Fucking cocksucker. And I was like this.
Yo,
but
that's
he was cool with
real.
me.
But now you got kids going and getting a squiggly line and paying $2,000
So, wow.
at a boutique shop.
Wow.
Tattoo culture, man. When I was growing up, as you know, I'm not. You know, I keep saying when I was growing up, I'm not that old. I'm old enough, but I started getting tattooed at a young age, and I remember getting tattooed around 14, 15, and my mom. Every time I got a tattoo, she was like, "Every time you get a tattoo, you stick another knife in my heart." I go, "Ma, come on, stop with the, stop. You're fine."
Breaking your mother's heart with that shit.
I know, but
Old school Dominicana.
I know, but only to find out that 20 years later, this is gonna be the biggest trend ever. Not there's some that I want to scratch off of my own nails because I'm like,
Oh, because you feel like...
it's
yeah.
like the culture is not the same anymore. But
Yeah, but you wear your tattoos like a vet. It doesn't feel like... You can feel... People walk with tattoos differently.
yeah. No, I can wear mine.
You kind of wear your
same-
tattoos like a dude... like a guy with a lot of style wears a You wear your tattoos like you're supposed to wear a chinchilla like you're wearing a T-shirt.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's not like you're not leading with the tattoo like.
Oh, you mean like taking the photos, showing my tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, rolling up.
I kind of want to hide them sometimes. I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I went to meet I got my hands tatted. I'm always like this.
Yeah.
But then you got people that got like the little lines and they're like this in their photos. Like,
Yeah.
someone's got like an eye booger and they're like stretching. It's like showing it off.
People love to show off.
Yeah, man. I'm like, no, man, it's there. People ask, I'm like, yeah, it's there. It's like whatever. But I got my Lower East Side tattoos.
Yeah, it's just dope.
I got
and I
this-
see you got the barber knife right there.
Oh yeah, I got I got these when I graduated. Kind of have to get them. I got this in the projects in Avenue D.
The LES tattoo.
You know who did that?
Who's that?
Dan Halen.
Dan Halen. So Dan Halen is also a trainer and an MMA fighter out of Overthrow. And it's funny. Dan Halen is an interesting character. The fact that his name is Dan Halen and that's not his real name is hilarious because he loves
Van Halen.
Van Halen. That's like me calling myself Sergio Wu-Tang Clan. You know what I'm saying? But he loves it.
He lives it.
Yeah.
And I respect the kid, man.
Yeah.
I love him. I grew up with him.
Oh, did you guys grow up together?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are close.
Yeah. I knew him when he was just a scrawny kid.
Yeah.
And now he's like a fucking. I mean, you know it.
Yeah.
I gotta say anything, you know.
Yeah. He's a tall motherfucker. Before we close out,
Yeah.
I want what eventually happened with the Chinatown story.
So
Did anything come about it? So
nothing
the lady
came
was being
about,
followed.
So basically,
This is the Dirtbag Podcast. Look how we go back to that shit
Yeah.
15 minutes later.
No, I'm just, I'm right now at this point. I'm playing Neighborhood Watch.
Good for you,
Because-
man.
Because I know once I moved in, I knew, you know how you do. You move in and introduce to, that's what you do.
Yeah.
So
Good social skills.
Yeah, exactly. So they all know me, and I'm also like not a small guy. And then, so when I saw something happen, and I waited for them to close because the guys kept like pacing around, which then turned out that these guys attacked another Asian down the block.
Now, are these? Is it guys who are going after Asian because you think they're racist, or it's a little bit of like, or are they just fucking drug addicts, or you have no idea? Or it's a little bit of both. Like,
I don't know, man. It could be a little bit of both. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But it's a pattern. It's a sick pattern. You want to say it's racism, but I mean, again, like, I see a lot of, especially like in my neighborhood, they're the nicest people ever. Like they're super.
they don't fuck with you.
They don't fuck with nobody.
And maybe that's what it is, that people, like crazy
Take
people,
advantage of
they're trying to take advantage
of it. And it could be another thing where it's the fear mongering and like, we're getting.
Let me tell you,
but
remember back when Mexicans were coming out and they were migrating here, how they were being picked on?
Yeah.
And those motherfuckers got a little organized. They started displaying a little resistance, and they don't fuck around. You can't really fuck around too much.
Let me tell you something. My dad once told me, if I ever fought a Mexican, I better bring a steel pipe.
Dogs.
You can't knock a Mexican out.
So I saw one time I was in Astoria, Queens, and I saw like two brothers fighting, and dogs. It was like pay-per-view. Like that shit could have been on pay-per-view. It was such a back and forth match.
Won't stop.
There's something about their culture that they have such resilience and ironclad chins that it is wild to watch.
You think it's the chin, or you think that they're just very close to the ground?
No, man.
I don't know
whatever it is. Maybe
they scrap.
And
Man.
there's something about their body makeup, their bone density that's thicker or something. I don't know, wider frames, something.
Something that keeps them, fucking like really grounded because
they could take. Yeah, I mean, you see it in the box. There's a Mexican style,
exactly,
very straightforward, and they bang. They use both hands.
Yeah, I have much respect for the Mexicans, man. This is a Mexican family, man. Like those dudes. I mean, I got cousins that are Mexicans, and I seen them scrap.
Yeah.
I just go, okay, I don't want no smoke with that.
For real.
Also, if I'm start swinging, I'm like this, on top of the heads. I'm like, and I get nobody.
So besides besides the hair cutting, the barbering, what other ventures are you interested in doing? Because like I said, you're a creative dude, man. I can see you doing designs.
I'm just gonna try to get my hands on anything that I know I can excel in. I'm not gonna touch something that I'm just gonna make a fool out of myself on. You know what I mean? Like creative, yeah, I can do that. I've been doing that. So the opportunity hits, I'll do it. But right now I'm gonna stick to hair.
Have you fucked someone's hair up?
Nah, not yet.
A crooked ass lineup?
No, because I've been doing it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, because now I'm still like.
That's gotta be nerve wracking the first time you cut someone's hair.
It really is because.
It goes back, but still, tattooing gotta be tougher.
Yeah, I'd rather not do.
Have you ever tattooed somebody?
No, it's a little much. It's a lot of
that's
responsibility. Yeah. No, but
I gotta say, Dan gave you the LES one.
Yeah.
He did a good job.
He did a great job.
That's a good job.
We were both
fucking blitzed.
Oh my God!
You guys were hammered
in his room on Avenue D. While he's swinging swords and a fucking crossbow.
Yeah, he definitely he owns a fucking sword and a crossbow.
He definitely has swords and crossbows. Yeah, and
that's so fucking funny.
Yeah. But I'll always keep you posted on anything coming up. But
appreciate you, man. If anyone wants to follow, share the Instagram if you want.
Yes,
that's my choice because I just find your shit to be super hilarious.
It's private, but yes, if you want to follow and don't, it's at Boost Boogie, BOOST BOOGIE.
Perfect, man. Well, that's an episode. Al, I would love to have you back on.
I would love to come
we'll
back,
do a part
man.
2. I love the fact that
I got more stories, man. We need more time.
And we scratched the surface, but I like the fact that this really represents a kind of like a slice of old Lower East Side. And I knew that's exactly what it be. So I appreciate you, homeboy. You know, man. Yo, he looked at my hand and saw the little finger, and he was like, nah, I don't want to touch that shit. Now you gotta touch it again.
That's right, fuck it.
He looked at it like that. He was like, fuck, I didn't drink before this shit. I don't want to touch. What's wrong with your little ass finger? It looks like a talon.
It's not as decrepit as you think it is. It's fine. It's
actually not bad.
That's not bad. You got a nail on it.
Yeah. It's actually, this is actually not a real human nail. It's a pit bull nail.
Bullshit. So
you
we
the man.
coming. Love you, brother. Thank you.
Love
so
you too,
much,
man. We out of here. DBS Podcast. Happy 420.
Thank you.
By the time this episode comes out, it won't be 420. It'll be super irrelevant. But these stories that were shared today is timeless. I hope you enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that generic shit. Peace. We out.
Thank you, brother.